Folks, I'm out here in the shop with a big, mature, fairly heavy horned 6-pointer that I killed this morning. Good buck, good old mature buck. He was still stinking. Here it is, December 24, Christmas Eve, and he was still stinking at the rut. I mean, he was stinking good. But so this morning, my buddy and I, we had a limited amount of time to hunt, and so rather than go get in trees with climbers and whatnot, we decided to hunt a dike that we're able to drive right up to. Here along the river, the Cape Fear River, there are dikes everywhere, and most of them have deer, rabbits, some of them have turkeys. So this is a pretty big dike where we went to, and I think I'd seen this buck up there 3 or 4 weeks ago. We had hunted it in the evening and saw this buck, and he was 400 or 500 yards out. I'm almost sure it was the same one. I can't swear to it, but I think it probably was. So this morning we had a limited amount of time to hunt, and so we decided to go back to the dike and deglass it and see if we could spot something and then maybe put a stalk on it. Well, as luck would have it, we got up there on top of the dike, and lo and behold, this guy stepped out. We saw him step out, and he's on the inside of the dike. So he stepped out and he started feeding, and so he was probably 800 yards or so away from us when we first saw him. And so we started working our way down a little closer to him, and he kept glassing, and I kept looking at him through the scope, and we could tell that it was a buck. And then as we got a little bit closer, we could tell that he was a shooter. And so I kept stalking my way to him. So, you know, Murphy's with me all the time when I'm hunting. So naturally some things had to go wrong. Well, this particular place, when we go out and hunt like this, I'm not carrying my big cameras and things like that with me to record everything, but I have a Tacticam that films through the scope, sort of, and I have another Tacticam that I mount on the gun barrel looking back at me. So there's where the trouble began. The Tacticams are great cameras. They take really good footage, but if you don't take the battery out of them and you pack them in a bag that's got a lot of stuff in, all it takes is one little bump on the switch and they turn on and start recording. And evidently one of mine had been recording for quite some time in the bag. I had a bunch of videos that were nothing but black. Well, I had it on the gun when I was making the stalk, but evidently it had run the battery down and it kept cutting off. And so I didn't get hardly any footage of it looking back at me as I was making the stalk, or when I got ready to make the shot on the deer. Once I finally got down there, the last time that I ranged him with the rangefinder, he was 212 yards. And he was feeding towards me and I'm working towards him, and the dike is up way above him and I'm over here where the slope is, and I'm trying to stay down low so that he doesn't see me and I don't get silhouetted. And every now and then I'd pop up and just look to make sure he was still there. So the last time I ranged him, he was at 212, and like I say, he's coming my way, I'm going that way, so I eased down just a little bit more, and then I got down on my belly and I crawled across back over to the other side of this dike. And this dike, it comes up like this and it's flat on the top, and it's like a bowl in the middle, in case you're not familiar with what a dike is. It's where the spoils from dredging are pumped into. So I got over there and I got on him, and so the deer was between 140 and 150 yards. Well, That Savage Model 220 that I've got, that I just started hunting with this year, I've got it zeroed at 150, 150 yards. And I put it on him, and I absolutely drilled this deer exactly where I was aiming on him. He ran towards me, and I would have probably shot him again. I threw another one in the chamber, but I had the scope turned all the way up while I was laying down on the ground in prone position with the gun on the bag. I had turned the power all the way up to make the shot, and most of you probably know it's really hard to find something because you have such a small field of view when your power's jacked up. So I backed it off. By the time I got it backed off, the deer had turned and gone up into the dike, into some thick stuff. So long story short, we got there to him, and we heard the deer move a couple of times, and so we just sat there and waited. We gave him about the better part of 30 minutes, and we probably hadn't heard the deer move anymore for at least 20 minutes before we went in there for him, and he was laying there dead. Great buck, glad to have him. That tags me out on bucks for 2023. So I'm out here now. I'm getting ready, seeing as how I do my own taxidermy. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting ready to take all the key measurements and everything off of him, so that I can record those. I'll get him caped out and get the cape sent off and get it wet tanned, and which it'll take till probably July next year to get it back. They stay that backed up. So but anyway, that's the process. I'll get him all caped out, get the cape in the freezer, and get the antlers cut off the skull and everything, let them be drying out and everything, and get him ready so that I can mount him. Because like I say, I do my own taxidermy, and so a deer that I probably wouldn't pay $500 or more to have mounted, I'll mount him myself and put him on the wall, which he'll look good. Nice heavy horns. He's a brute. He was a brute. So really glad to have him, blessed to have him. Thank the good Lord for blessing me with another deer, another buck, and for my friend Jonathan for taking me hunting. So anyway, we'll get started on it. So anyway, let me say that I've got a little bit of video footage. It's not very good, but I'll show you what I can of the hunt. Like I say, I don't have very much because the camera looking back at me, it didn't give me much. And the Tacticam looking through the scope, that really leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, it's great if you're just sitting there and sitting still and just filming through the scope. It does that fine. But when it comes to making the shot, you're not going to keep it on the animal. It's just not going to happen. You can't, especially shooting something that has as much recoil as a 20 gauge slug. You're not going to keep it on it. You can't keep it on them with a bow. No matter how smooth your bow is, it's gonna jump. It's gonna come off the target when the shot goes off, and that's just the problem with the film through scope system. But it's better than nothing. So I'll continue to use it until there's a better alternative for me. So anyway, y'all keep watching and check it out. folks, I've just shot a pretty darn big buck. Sorry I couldn't be filming all of this, but hopefully the Tacticam got a little bit of the footage. But my partner seems to think I made a good shot on him. He said he was bloodied up pretty good just behind the shoulder, so that's right where I had it on him. Just about 140-yard shot. So the gun should have been right dead on. He came towards the shot, and I couldn't find him in the scope. I had the power jacked up too high. I couldn't find him in the scope to get a second shot off, but I don't think we need it. So my buddy's gone down to get the truck, bring it up this way. We're up on top of a great big dike, and so hopefully we'll be putting a big old buck in the truck here in a few minutes. So y'all stay tuned. I'm pretty sure this is where it was when I shot it. Yep. Yep. Yeah, there's blood. There's blood. Yeah. There's blood. There's blood.
Blood looks good, man.
There's blood. Boy. One of them old swamp donkeys there. Yeah, I'll take that all day. Yes, sir.
Come on.
It should already be recording.
Okay, you should be good now. I'm trying to get it to zoom in. Not zoom in, but clear.
Right. Yep, good 6-pointer. I hit him right where I was aiming. Didn't do no better. For a 150-yard shot. I ranged 212 to that corner just beyond him, you know, where we saw him to start with. So. Great day. All right, well, we got him all measured up. And it's kind of late in the day. I'm not going to finish caping him out today. I wanted to always try to get the measurements off of one just as quickly as I can. Because generally what I do is, he's in the refrigerator over here now. I got him bagged up as tight as I can get it. But you don't want to leave it like that very long because it can dehydrate. And of course it shrinks, and so you don't get true measurements off of them that way. So you want to get your measurements as early as you can after you've killed the deer. He was on the downhill side a little bit. I'm sure 3 or 4 weeks ago he was probably swollen up way bigger than he is now. He still had a 24-inch neck on him. A little shorter snouted deer than what normally I kill around here. Most of the time they run 7 1/4 to 7 1/2 inches, and this one only was 6 1/2. Had kind of a short snout on him, blunt head, especially for a mature deer, and he was definitely a mature deer. So anyway, it is what it is. So tomorrow I'll get out here and I'll get him caped out and get him rolled up and put in the freezer, and get him and the 10-pointer that I killed here about a month ago to the tanner. And it'll take till probably June or July to get them back. And then I'll get everything together and I'll get them mounted up. Probably a little video of that too. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching the videos, especially when I don't have a lot of good footage to show you. I appreciate you putting up with it. So I just wanted to share the hunt with you as best I could, and so that's what I did. You know, when you don't have much footage to work with, there's just not a whole lot you can do. So if you got anything out of it that you like, if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, please. Maybe share it with somebody. The channel's growing slowly, but it's growing, and you can help me that way. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys watching. I appreciate your comments, the positive ones. Any negative comments, I'm just going to delete them. I'm not going to engage in a war of words with people that just want to, they've got nothing better to do than to leave a negative comment to somebody about what they do. So, you know, I just delete them, move on. So I really appreciate all you guys that support me and watch the videos, and until I see you in the next one, there you go.